Hey folks, in this tutorial I'm going to explain parameterization and checkpoints in UFT. Uh, let's have a look what is parameterization. Uh, the definition of parameterization can be given in that way. The process of importing different values into test through external parameters is called parameterization. That means we are going to import different data in the same test scenario through external parameters. That is called parameterization. Now, let's have a look how we implement parameterization in unified functional testing. I will open a new test and I will name it as parameterization and checkpoints. Parameterization checkpoints, and I will store it in the specified path. Create test. Now, see in my record and run settings, I have um, specified a custom settings where I want to open a web application, and when I start record, um, I specified to start gmail.com by default via Internet Explorer. So I'll keep these settings and click OK, and I'll click on record button here. Now see, it started Gmail. I will input a valid Gmail ID. I'll input password. I'll click on sign on button. Now the Gmail homepage is loaded. What I will do later on in this test, I'll implement checkpoint to check something from this page that this page has loaded. But for now, I will close the browser. And when the browser is closed, I will stop recording. See here, according to our record and run settings, it started Gmail page, and on Gmail page it import a valid email ID, then it import the password, and then it clicked on sign on button, and then I closed the browser. So this sync is, when you click on sign in button, then it takes a little bit time before it gives me the home page. So this is for the sync. This sync is for, to adjust this times before the home page loaded. So what I will do now, I will run whatever I have recorded. I'll click on that play button here, and then I'll click run. So it is starting Gmail page. It is inputting the email and password. Now the email page is loaded. When the email page is loaded, it clicked to close all the browsers. Now the test is done, and it will display the result page. See, in this result page, it is not telling whether my test is passed or failed. There is no status of the test. So it says 0 failed, 0 warnings, 0 passed. We will see how we can get passed or failed status at the end of the test run. But for now, just let's close this test result page. Now see here, um, in line number 2 we have input password in Gmail login. So what I don't want it to be masked. So what I'll do, I'll just set and I'll input the original password here. And then I will save the test. I'll click on view and I will click on that keyword view. So see, we are getting a different UI view. Previously it was it was expert view. That is, if you select editor, then it will take you to the expert view. That is, you will see the actual VB scripting command. Now if you select keyword view, it gives you the simplified view. Here, to parameterize, like I want to test, like I give a valid email and password and I got the home page. Now if I give an invalid email or invalid password, then what I will get? So for that, if to do the procedure, like to input invalid email and invalid password, we can do this in that way. If we go to editor and we can copy this bit and uh, we can paste it here. Then what it will do, it will we can specify a invalid email here or invalid password, but it will increase the code. But we don't want to do it in that way. We want to do it in the efficient way using parameterization. So what I'm going to implement the parameterization here. Now I'll go to the keyword view again, and then see in the keyword view, let's expand this one and then let's expand here. Now see here, this is the line where we input email and where we input password. So what I will do, I will click here and I will click on that button here. Now see, um, I want I want it to be like uh, I want to input value through parameterization here. I will select this one and I will give the name of the field as email ID, and I want the value from the global datasheet. So what is global datasheet? A global datasheet is a global sheet that by default each of the test has global datasheet. It can read data from the global datasheet. Uh, it can put value into global datasheet. So I have selected parameter as email ID and I choose global datasheet as the input. So I'll click OK. Now see, I have a column here called email ID and I have the email ID that I already input. What I will do, I will do the same thing for this one. I will select parameter and I will rename it to password, and the global datasheet is by default selected. Now what I want to try an valid ID I want to try a valid ID but invalid password. Atlanta. And then I want to try a invalid ID and a valid password. So I'll save it, and then I will go to again to the expert view and see now our email is coming from global datasheet, our password is coming from global datasheet. Now let me run the test again. So it has input valid email and valid password. And then close the browser, it started again, and now it's inputting invalid ID and password, and then it is trying again for the third record. So see, this time the test ran for three set of data. One is a valid email ID and valid password, another one is for a valid email ID but invalid password, and the last one is for a invalid email ID but for a valid password. See, there is three iteration here: iteration 1, iteration 2, iteration 3, and we can expand the result and we can see, okay, these things was performed. Now again, we do not have any password failed status yet. I will close the browser. Now I will do a couple of more steps in my test. So what I will do, um, after this sync, I will input a couple of more steps. So let me go to Gmail again. Let me input the email ID. Let me sign in. So after logging into Gmail, I want to sign out from the Gmail, and after signing out, I want to close the browser. Now I will click on, I keep my cursor here, and then I will click record again. Now see here, there is a little bit problem because in our record and run settings we have specified each time it to start a new browser. So I will change the setting first before I do any further things. Let me close this browser that I have here, cancel. Now let me close this browser that has opened newly. Let me close it, and let's go to record and run settings, and see, do not record and run on browsers that are already open. So I want to take this one, check this one off, because if a browser is already open, I want to record on that one. Now I'll click again on record, and then actually it will start, because in our record and run settings we have specified that when a record and run session start, open this browser. So that's fine. I'll close this browser, and then what I want to do, I want to click on this drop down here, and then I want to click on that sign out button. And when I'm sign out, I want to close the browser. So I already have a command where I'm closing the browser, so I'm not clicking it again. Now let's stop the recording again. See here, this close all tabs, I don't want it here. I will remove it, and I don't want this. This line appears because um, I have, when I started recording again, I click to close all the browsers. That's why this line appears. So I don't want it here. I will remove that one. Now, see, when I'm logged into email, I am clicking on that drop down link on right top corner, and after that I am clicking on sign out button, and after that I'm closing all the browsers. Let me play the test again. It will generate error, but we will work on it. So I'm going to play the test again. So it logged into Gmail, it is clicking on that link, and after that it's clicking on sign out. When it is signed out, it has closed the browser and it is trying to input the invalid credentials. And when it import invalid credentials, there will be an error here. See, it is waiting in this line. It is trying to get that drop down to get sign out link, although we are not signed in at all. So it is waiting for that object, and it will throw an error. See, in this error, it is displaying, it is trying to clicking on a link that doesn't exist. So I will stop the test. So the fact here is, when you are logged in, then you will get that sign out button or sign out option. When you are not logged in, then you are not getting that sign out option. So for invalid credential, like uh, when we are running the test, it is running the same test 3 times. The first iteration is for the valid credentials, and the other 2 iteration is for the invalid credentials. So for the invalid credentials, still it is trying to execute these 2 lines where it is clicking on sign out button, and after that it is clicking on a link on the top right hand corner, and after that it is clicking on that sign out button. So what do we want to do? uh, we know that we will get that sign out button or sign out option when we are logged in. So we are logged in when we are inputting valid credentials, and we know what is our valid credentials. This is our valid credentials: Tanmay Ilan and Atlanta 1234. Now we will put a condition here to check whether we are inputting a valid credentials or not. If we are inputting a valid credentials, then we will look for that link, and after that we will click on that sign out button. So let me implement that part. I'll put a if condition here. If data table dot global sheet, so I'm looking for email ID. If email ID um, equal to Tanmoy Elan, and password equal to Lana 1234, then what you do, that means we are inputting valid credentials and try to log out. So here we'll input this, click on that link on top right corner and then click sign out and provide a output here, valid email homepage appeared for valid credentials. Then if we are not, like for the other two iteration we are not inputting valid credentials, so for valid credentials it will execute this part. If we are not inputting valid credentials, then we want to display a message here, print invalid credentials supplied. Now let's run the test again, but before running this test we want to change something here. What we want to change something, like we have seen that each time we start to record or we want to run test, it starts a browser, this one from here, it starts a browser gmail.com. We don't want it. We want to record and run test on any open browser, and we want to select apply and then we want to click OK. And before inputting email and password, what we want to open the browser. So I will keep my cursor here and I will click on record. Now I will click on that Internet Explorer link. I will type, when it is loaded, I will type yep I will type when the browser is fully loaded, I will input my URL. So I'll click on the URL here and I will type gmail.com. Now I have already steps to input email ID and password and click on send button. So I'll stop the recording here and see here the browser I started from the taskbar, and then it synced. It was waiting for the browser, and when the browser appears, it input the URL on the browser. So let me close the browser and let's start the test again. So here what will happen for the valid credentials, it will step into the home page and it will click on that link on the corner, and then it will click on sign out button and it will display a message. And for the invalid credentials, it will display a message in the output, in invalid credentials applied. Let me run the test. It started the browser, inputting the URL, input the email ID and password. For valid email ID and password, what it is going to do, it will click on that link on the top right corner and it will click on sign out button. Now it will do the process for invalid credentials. So for invalid credentials, one iteration is done, it is doing the another iteration. Now the rest is done. See, we have applied a condition here. One, give me 1 second. Now have a look. In test result, it said passed because what we did, we have applied a if condition to print something. That's why it is displaying the result here. Okay, three iteration is passed. So it is because we have the if condition here, if, and then we have print something. That's why it is displaying the result. Okay, test is passed. Now have a look here. We have implemented a condition here. If in the global datasheet email ID and password is a valid one, then go inside email, click on the link on top right corner and click on sign out button. Print something on the output, that is email homepage appeared for valid credentials. Now if you look in the output, see, for the global data, that is a valid credentials we supplied in the first iteration, it displayed, okay, valid data was input, and it gives the corresponding result. For the other two iteration, it displayed invalid credentials were supplied. Now we will implement checkpoints from here. um, let's see what is checkpoints. A checkpoint is a verification for point that compares a current value for a specified property with the expected value for the property. This enables you to identify whether your website or application or application is functioning correctly. Now we have different types of checkpoints. We have standard checkpoint, we have text checkpoint, we have bitmap checkpoint, we have database checkpoint. In standard checkpoint, we are looking for a particular um, particular element, and we are checking its, whatever properties we want to check, we are checking for particular properties of that particular element. In text checkpoint, we are looking for a particular text in the expected page. And in bitmap checkpoint, it verifies an area of your application as a bitmap. That means it compares area of an application bit by bit. And in database checkpoint, it verifies the contents of a database accessed by application database. Now we will implement standard checkpoint at the beginning, and after that we will implement the other checkpoints. Have a look here. Now when I am logging into the application, into Gmail, using proper credentials, then what I want to verify something inside that Gmail. So let's put our cursor here, and let's go to Gmail again. See here, when we are logged into Gmail, we verify something from this page that we are logged in properly. So what I want to do, I want to when I am logged in, I want to verify, or I can see yeah, whether I can see this element here. So I will create a checkpoint to verify whether I am getting this link here. Let me close this output window and let me start recording again. When you start recording, see, you have that recording bar here. From this recording bar, you will click on that checkpoint and you will click on that standard checkpoint. Now what is the element that you are looking for? You are clicking on that. So I want to make sure that I am getting this element here. I clicked on that. So this is a web element, and I clicked OK. And now what I look for? I look for that HTML tag, that is a span, and I look for that inner text, get Gmail for mobile. And after that we can, this is the constant, we can parameterize these things as well. We can look for particular things, but we will select default, and I will click OK. Now see, if you, now I will stop recording. And now if you have a look in your code, see, it has input checkpoint here. So it is looking for that particular web element. Now if I want to import, like if I want to look for all of the web element underneath, I can input another standard checkpoint here. Let me click on this record button again, and after that let me click on standard checkpoint. So I said already that standard checkpoint is a checkpoint where we are looking for, we are uh, checking the attributes for a particular item, like we are comparing the runtime value of an element with actual value. So I already checked for this link. I will add this link and I'll click OK. I will add, when this one is added, I will add one more link. So I will input another standard checkpoint. I want to check this one. Okay, this one is loaded as well. Okay, now I have added three standard checkpoint here, where I'm looking for, when I'm logged in properly, I'm looking for these element. Okay, did I get those elements perfectly? If I get this element perfectly, okay, my test is passed. Now that is how we implement standard checkpoint. So you can look for literally anything. You can check for anything. You can check for this button, you can check for this button, or you can check for this link here. Let me add a button, add another standard checkpoint, and I want to check for this promotion button. Actually that one is a web element as well, so I don't want it. I'm looking for a particularly, I'm looking for a pattern. So is there any pattern here? Let's try compose element standard checkpoint, and let me try to add this one. That is a web element as well. So I will add that web element. So now see, when I logged in, literally I can look for anything by standard checkpoint in that way. Now I'll stop the recording and see, I have added this one to check whether this web element exists. Then I have added this one to check whether that account created web element exists. Then I have added this compose web element on from top. Now what, when I'm logged in, I am looking for this web element as a standard checkpoint. If I don't get any of those web element, my test will fail. Okay, so this is how you create a standard checkpoint. Now I will create another standard checkpoint for um, actually I will create a text checkpoint for invalid credentials. So I will place my cursor here, and after that um, I will log out, and I will try with valid credentials. Input any email and password and click sign on. When you click on sign on, see, you are getting that text in red that email or email ID or password is entered is incorrect. So what I'm looking for, if I get that text for a invalid credentials, then I can decide, okay, the appropriate text or appropriate message displayed for invalid credentials. So how will I verify that that text is displayed? I will create a text checkpoint to verify that text. So what I will do, I will start recording again, and then from this drop down I will select text checkpoint, and after that I will click on any place on this window and see. Now I can see all the text in that page. I'll click on configure, and from the configure page I will select whatever text I want to configure or whatever text I am looking for. So here I want to select this bit of text, the email or password, and I will select checked text. I will click OK. And now see, in constant it has changed. Okay, I'm looking for this text, so it has changed the setting accordingly. And after that, I want to, if I want to match case, exact match, or ignore spaces, I'll keep the default setting and I'll click OK. Now if I stop recording, see, there is another checkpoint here for that for that um, text checkpoint. For the invalid credential, I want to check this, and see, all of this checkpoint related web element, or elements, is storing in the local repository. We'll explain what is local repository and how does local repository works, but first of all, have a look inside that local repository. If you go inside, see, um, here it says page Gmail to checkpoint Gmail. So here, see this checkpoint and output objects. This is one checkpoint, this is another checkpoint. All the checkpoints that we are creating is storing in that local database, local object repository. So we'll explain local object repository later on, but to give you an idea, I have shown that, yeah, these checkpoint related objects are storing in the local object repository. Now let me run this test again. Actually, before running this test again, I want to explain another checkpoint. See, we have said that bitmap checkpoint. In bitmap checkpoint, we are looking for a particular element, and we are checking bit by bit of that element. So if you have a look here, um, we want to when we are, like, when you got the Gmail page, we want to check something, like whether we get Gmail page properly. So what we will do, um, I will go to Gmail again, and when you got the Gmail page, I want to verify that this little circle here appeared. So what I will do, I will import a bitmap checkpoint here, where it will verify this circle bit by bit. It will compare exactly each bit, does it match each bit with the existing object. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to um, put here, before I input anything, I want to input a standard checkpoint here, whether I'm getting the Gmail page properly or not. So what I will do, I will start another coding session, and then I will, in this time, I will input a bitmap checkpoint. So in bitmap checkpoint, what I will, it's very simple. You click on the object that you want to check bit by bit, you click OK. Now, so you want to check this bit of object bit by bit. So I will keep everything default, and I will click OK, and I will stop recording. See here, after the Gmail page appeared, I'm looking for something bit by bit. So what I want to look for is inside my object repository. If you go to the repository, see, I have another object here that I want to look for bit by bit. This is my expected object. It is in the object repository, and when I am running the test, it will bring me the Gmail page, and whatever I am getting from that page, I am comparing that particular object with the expected object in the object repository. So if these two objects match bit by bit, then my test will pass. So this is the expected object, and runtime, when I run the test, I will get another object here. So what it will do, it will compare this object with the object that I already stored in the repository, in the local repository. So that's fine. Now I have implemented um, standard checkpoint here. I have implemented text checkpoint here for the invalid credentials. I have implemented a bitmap checkpoint here uh, after um, after going into gmail.com. Now let me run the test. Let me save the test before I run it, and let me close the browser. Let me run it. I'm logging into Gmail. So it logged in with valid credentials, and it is comparing the different types of checkpoint that I implemented in the test. And when it will finish, it will click on sign out. So after signing out, it will start another iteration for invalid credentials. When it is inputting invalid credentials, it already checked for that, that text. It is starting another round for the invalid credentials. Now test is done, and let's see the test result. You can see all of the three iteration is passed. That means whatever object we have stored in the repository for the checkpoints, we have got those objects in the actual application. Now see, all of the test is passed. Iteration 1, iteration 2, iteration 3, all of the test is passed. And I'll close this test result. So let's have a recap. What we did in this tutorial, we started a test, and after that we parameterized it for three different set of values. And after parameterizing it, what we did, we implement different types of checkpoints on it. We implemented standard checkpoint, we implemented text checkpoint, we implemented bitmap checkpoint. um, I hope this tutorial will help you. In the future tutorial, we will implement some other features on UFT. um, I hope you will keep watching. Thank you for watching again.